Hello and a warm welcome along to today's United Kingdom talk. I'm still in Sydney at the moment, and this time behind me I'm sitting in the Botanical Gardens, okay, which is in Sydney, and behind me is a picture, or well, I say a picture, no, it's not really just a picture, it's actually there behind me. I'm actually here sitting in front of Sydney Opera House, which is an amazing building. From a distance, it looks like it's just one building with lots of bits sticking out all over the place. But it does it. In fact, I think it's three completely separate buildings that have built in such a way that it looks like that. Absolutely amazing place, and it's enormous inside. I haven't had to walk around in there yet, but I'm going to have a little walk around after I finish recording this show. So marvellous. I can't believe that the last show I did was also from Sydney, and we never actually got to talking about any of my holiday yet in the whole half hour. How mad is that? And also, those of you watching, eagle-eyed spotters will notice that it appears that I'm wearing the same t-shirt as I did in the last show. Now, I could sit here and I could tell you that I bought two t-shirts exactly the same, but I won't, because I'm not a liar, boys and girls. I want you to look at my face and think to yourself, I trust that man. And if I started lying now, where would it end? Yes, indeed, I am wearing exactly the same t-shirt as I did the other day. Now, there is a reason for that. Before I came away, I decided that I only wanted to take less than half the stuff I bought here last time. Now, admittedly, last time I came to Australia was 3 years ago, and I had this massive suitcase, right? And the weight of the suitcase was about 70 kilos. 75 kilos, fully weighed up, right? This time, I decided to myself, I don't want to, because it's an absolute pain carrying around a suitcase as big as that. Or there's a family going past, hello, with them hats on. I've got one of those somewhere. I ought to have my hat on, because I'm getting a red head. See, I don't care anymore. People walk past, I don't care. I just get on with the show. How professional is that? Anyway, so I really didn't want to carry around a heavy case. Also, they've reduced the weight of cases that can be carried on the internal flights to just 23 kilos. And the last thing we want is to get on a plane and have to pay excess luggage prices. So I'd already decided I only wanted to take half as much. And that's the reason you see me wearing the same t-shirt, because I have to wear each t-shirt I've bought 4 times. Okay, that may sound disgusting, but I have done the sniff test, boys and girls. After each day, I carefully remove my t-shirt, which I'm not going to do now for you. I don't want you to get too excited. Okay, I remove my t-shirt and I sniff carefully at the armpits. Now, admittedly, this one is starting to ming a little bit. On the other hand, I have had it on, just a minute, let me work it out. It has been on, this is the last day I'm wearing this particular t-shirt, you may be pleased to know. Okay, so we're not doing this, so it is possible to carry around less weight. Indeed, I think I told you I bought a new suitcase, right? And the weight of this, I also went for a very light suitcase, which I bought in Bentley's department store near me. And the suitcase itself only weighs 3.5 kilos, which isn't much at all. So you can put quite a lot in it. And the total weight of the suitcase when I'd finished was 17 kilos. So I was well short of the 23 kilos that you're actually allowed on the internal flight. So very pleased about that. So that's why I'm wearing the same t-shirt. Before anyone starts emailing in, oh, you're wearing the same t-shirt 2 shows in a row. I know, dear. I do know. Now, there's an email address to the show. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, if you were watching a show back in August or September last year, you may remember I bought a little stool to sit on. Do you remember that? Well, guess what I've got here? It's come all the way to Australia with me. My little stall for millets that I now do my outside broadcasts with. How professional am I, eh? You must actually think I'm mad. Well, I think I'm mad. Apparently, I've been told if you think you're mad, you're not. That's the truth of it. It is. So, the holiday. Should we get on to the holiday? So, Thursday the 14th of January is when I left. I'd already arranged for my dear friend Ronnie to take me to the airport, which incidentally wasn't free of charge. It was quite funny, actually. When I first asked him, I said, do you want to take me to the airport and collect me again? The only thing is the collection is a bit of an early time. He says, yeah, no problem at all. I said, I will pay you for doing that because obviously you'll need to take a day off or perhaps 2 days off. And he went, no, well, and he went, no, you don't have to do that. And then he went, well, and at that point I said, no, I won't have it. I'll charge. So I think I should have kept my mouth shut. Because I would have had that journey for nothing, wouldn't I? I knew I should have kept my mouth shut, but I can't use people like that. I'm not a user. I want to point out, when I ask someone to do something for me, I will do something back for them, always. Now, I know that Ron is saving up for a BMW. So a few quid here always helps. In fact, rather unusually, you'll probably think this is really unusual, and I'm not going to tell you how much it was or anything like that. Rather unusually, at Christmas time, I chose to give him money because I knew he was saving up for this BMW car. So I gave him a bit of cash instead of buying a present, and he was very appreciative of that. Of course, I shan't let him forget, once he's got that BMW, that I actually own a part of it, don't I? You know, for that money I gave him, I probably own the gear stick knob, or a handle, or perhaps one of the cushions in the back. You know, so that all kind of works out. So I'd already arranged for him to pick me up. He came round on the Thursday. He got to my house about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And first of all, we went out for a pizza in Bracknell at a place called Frankie and Benny's. Quite nice pizzas. I think, as far as I know, they only do the thin crust ones there, which is probably good for you and I, Weight Watchers. It is, isn't it? Because I am watching my weight again, I'm afraid. Yep, I am definitely watching my weight, because in the first hotel that I stayed in here in Sydney, there is a large mirror in the bathroom. Now, I have a mirror in my bathroom at home, but it's only one of those little round ones, you know? The ones that you sit on the top of the one that you sit in front of you at the wash basin so that you can shave carefully. I don't really have a full-length mirror upstairs, either in my bedroom or in the bathroom. There's one downstairs in the kitchen, but of course by the time you get down to there, you're dressed, aren't you? Well, unfortunately, in the first hotel I stayed in, there is a full-length mirror in the bathroom. And I went in there naked after getting ready for bed. And I looked in the mirror and I thought, oh my God, you have put it on, Chris. And unfortunately that means, and I'm extremely now, so I wish I'd never looked. I wish I hadn't looked. I'm now extremely self-conscious of taking off a t-shirt or something like that. So one of those things, isn't it? I was aware I was a bit overweight before I came away on holiday, but I just couldn't do anything about it. I could not give up those bags of crisps. I'm trying so hard. I am trying hard, but there's this bit hanging here and I don't know. Anyway, so he came and picked us up. We went for a pizza at Frankie and Benny's. Then we had a little look around the shops. I can't think if we bought anything or not. Yeah, I went to Tesco's actually to try and get my, you know, the free game that I'm supposed to have got with the Wii that I told you about a few shows ago. Well, this is back in January now. And, you know, they still haven't got it in yet. Or they didn't, at least they didn't when they went in. So they've taken my phone number, they took my phone number, and that's it. So we came back to my house. I can't remember what we did now. We were mucking about doing something in the house. Oh, that's right, yeah. Remember I told you about the new wireless router? Well, of course, Ronnie wants to use his laptop, so he needed the security key to log in to this wireless router. It's ever such a long line of letters and numbers, isn't it? Have you got one of those wireless router things in your house? Why is that number so long? It's got to be about 30 letters and numbers long. It goes on forever. Not a simple password at all, is it really? Anyway, so we got that going. By the time we got back, it was, I don't know, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we had a bit of a chat and we were both very tired. So we decided to have a sleep before my plane journey. Got up around about 6 o'clock and I had a shower. We both had a cup of tea, and then he says, right, I'll go and start the car up, because there was still snow on the ground. I mean, it was still very lot of snow still on the ground in the UK. And he went to the car, and then I was all over the place, and I'm always like this when I go away, okay? Now that I'm here in Sydney, chatting to you, I'm kind of quite happy to be here. Could quite easily, you know, buy a house somewhere here and live here now that I'm here. But the actual journey of getting here, or indeed anywhere, I hate. Absolutely hate it. And I am he's gone out to the car. I'm now left alone in the house to just get my bits and pieces together. Oh my God, have I forgotten this? Have I forgotten that? Have I turned this off? And it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. I'm in pieces and I'm feeling ill now. But I'm sensible enough to realise that I'm feeling ill because of the impending journey. And I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm all over the place. Got all my bits and pieces together, locked the door, locked the gate, put the burglar alarm on, checked the video camera was working, because I've got security camera things as well. And they were all working, and left the house. Got into the car, sat in the car. He reversed out and carefully on the snow on the road. The side road was pretty bad, but the main roads were okay. And off he went. You know, and all the way, because the journey from my house to Heathrow Airport isn't far at all. You're talking probably about 25 minutes. We were actually left at Terminal 3. Most people are under the impression that all the British Airways flights go from Terminal 5, and this isn't true. Okay, some of them go from Terminal 3, I think, to Australia, Singapore, and there's another couple of places that go from Terminal 3. So we got to the airport, and that entire journey, I just felt ill. My stomach was churning away. I thought, and I'm sure it's in my mind, you know, I thought I was having a bit of trouble breathing with the asthma and all this, but of course it's all in the mind. It's just the sheer nerves of not flying. I'm not nervous flying, okay? I'm nervous that I've forgotten something. Forgotten my passport, forgotten the tickets, forgotten my money, forgotten something to do my shows with, my camera. I just worry so much that I've forgotten something. Anyway, got to the airport. The checkout was a little bit different. Ron dropped us off. I said goodbye and all that. We had a bit of trouble parking, actually. In the end, we had to double park because there was just nowhere to stop. And I just got out quickly, grabbed my case and walked into the airport. Checkout was a little bit different this time. Because I'd already printed my, what do you call them, boarding. I've still got it here, actually. Where's my boarding pass? Just a minute. You know those boarding cards that they give you at airports? It's the first time that I've actually had to print off my own one. There it is. Printed off my boarding thing here. Hang on, let me just see. I don't want to be showing you my credit card details. There we are. Boarding pass, BA 0009. Look at that, Mr. C. Reardon. All there. Wonderful. Printed all that out. Because I've done all that, you don't, and checked in online as well, all I had to do was drop my bag off, which was very quick, actually. They have two separate lines, actually. They have the economy passenger line, which is always really long, and I do feel feel for those people who have to stand in that line for God knows how long, and they have the business check-in, which is never anyone sort of there, maybe 1 or 2 people. And I've been very fortunate enough that I saved up once again for the business ticket, because I haven't been on holiday for 3 years anyway, so why not? So I saved all that money. I don't really spend much money at all myself. Got the business ticket and straight in there. So they took my bags off me, wished me a pleasant flight, told me to go through all the fast track security and all that, and that was it. So she told me where to go, dropped my bag off, had my rucksack with me, my little this is my sort of hand luggage bag, and I keep in here, and I actually keep this with me all the time I'm on holiday. This stays with me, and always I have kept with me my papers, which includes all in a little plastic folder, my papers, you know, plane tickets, my passport, and all my money, and they stay with me all the time. I never ever leave these in the hotel. As a reason for that, years ago, I was on holiday on a cruise, again with my friend Ron, and we had all our money stolen from our room. And it was kind of, well, we thought it was well hidden. We kind of put it in a sock and done the sock up and put it in the case and closed the case, although nothing was lost. And they took his money and my money. Fortunately, they left passports and things like that. So I learnt from that. You know, I learnt from that. And since then, whenever I go away somewhere, which isn't very often, but I always take all my money, credit cards, passport and all that with me, stays with me all the time. It is a bit of a pain sometimes having to carry around the bag, but you know, better safe than sorry, that's what I say. Oh, hang on, I've just done something wrong here, just a second now. What I've got here next to me is my mobile phone, and it's telling me how long I've done on the show, otherwise I forget. There we are, I can see now. So there we are, gone through the security thing, which was no problem. And then they pulled me aside, okay, and said, we just want to swap your bag for explosives. Okay, fair enough. Gave him my bag, and he gets this, like, it's like a bit of material, really, and it's held by this metal thing, and he just swabs the bag with this thing and then puts it in this machine, which I've had done to me before. And suddenly, rather embarrassingly, all these alarms went off, dear. I mean, no one came rushing. It wasn't that loud, but definitely the machine was sort of going, do-do-do-do. Quite, oh, my God. Did you see that? I was nearly attacked then by a seagull. So all these alarms went off on this machine. He says, oh, sorry, could you sit down there, sir? I'll be with you in a second. And he's straight on his radio thing. Oh, yeah, got an alarm gone off. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. OK, we'll send someone down. And someone else came down and says, yes, this has just set the alarm off. What do I do? The bloke didn't even know what to do, this security bloke. And the other guy said, whose is it? And he pointed at me and he looked at me. He says, all right, OK, then. All right, do it again and try it in another machine. So, I mean, it sounds quick, but all this took about 10 minutes. So someone else came down, took a swab and put it in another machine, and this time the alarms didn't go off. So they said, OK, sir, sorry to have troubled you, that seems all right now. You can be on your way. So I said to the guy, well, what sets that off? He said, well, that's to detect explosives. I said, well, why did that set it off? He said, well, it will also detect ingredients on explosives, which, believe it or not, are kind of everyday things that you may even have around the house. One of which is garden fertilisers, that sort of thing. So presumably I've used my bag at some point to carry something like that, which is quite possible, because I have used this to go shopping and things like that. So I've obviously had something in there which is an ingredient to an explosive. But that was it, really. So I walked into the business lounge, which was all quite nice, really. What did I have there? I had a very nice bowl of vegetable soup and some bread and some biscuits, all included in the price, dear. Oh, it's marvellous. I sat there in comfort. And very shortly, the only thing is they don't call the flights in that lounge, so you've got to be watching that screen, okay? So I saw the light come on, please go to the gate, so went to the plane, got on the plane, up the stairs. I was sitting up the stairs, where I like it up there. There's only a few seats, and glass of champagne or orange. So I had some orange, and I sat down in my seat. And I think the plane was delayed about 15 minutes, but that was okay. And the doors were closed, and that was it. I had a bloke sitting next to me. Now, in the business seats, there's kind of a divider, right, which you can put up so you don't have to see the person next to you. And this bloke, I kind of saw him walking around. I smiled at him a couple of times. Miserable git, though. He was sort of run about 35 or so, and he looks a miserable old git, I thought to myself. So I shan't bother with him, talking to him. I do like to talk to people on the plane, you know. And I do actually, believe it or not, I do actually stop to listen occasionally as well. Okay, I want to point out, don't think I'm the one doing the talking all the time, but he clearly wasn't up for conversation. And I think once we were up in the air, I went to the toilet, and when I came back, he'd put the divider up. I thought, oh, fine, fair enough. So very quickly, the first meal came round, which was very, very nice. It was some sort of beef something or else I selected from a very nice menu, I have to say. And then we had the entertainment system, which has changed as well. Now, I don't know if you've flown before yourself, but I'm sure you remember having a choice of films on a little screen in front of you. The thing is, if you pick the shortest film, then you want to watch another one, you have to wait for all the other films to finish before you can select a new film. Because what used to happen, it's certainly the case 3 years ago, the last time I flew, was that all these films were on a tape, right? So even if the films were at different times, I think they must have been, this kind of makes sense to me, all these films must have been on one big tape, sort of on different tracks, I would assume. So if you watch the shortest one, and you wanted to watch the next one, if you flicked channels, then the next one would have been sort of halfway or 3/4 of the way through. Something like that. Do you see what I mean? Well, that's all changed. And now they have the films and audio on demand, which is fantastic because you can watch one film, and then when you finish that, you kind of select another one, you push play, and it starts automatically. Just like watching a film or something on your computer, or indeed watching or listening to one of these shows, you know, as you finish one, you then look through the list and then you watch another. Although how on earth someone could watch two of these in a row, I really don't know. I mean, that's pretty hard going, that is, isn't it? I would have thought it was. So I watched a few films. I couldn't sleep on the first leg of the journey, and then we landed. I thought we were actually going to Singapore, but we didn't. We landed in Bangkok after, about 10 hours. And I am one for getting lost at airports, or indeed anywhere. And before we got off the plane, they made this announcement and says, please take your personal belongings and everything with you, as everyone will now leave the craft, including the British Airways staff, and there'll be cleaners on. We're not saying that they will nick anything, but you never know. Okay, so take all your personal belongings for you. Please be back on the plane in 45. Please be ready at the gate in 45 minutes' time. The plane arrives on level 1 and will be leaving on either level 2 or level 3. So I thought, well, that's a good start. You know, we're getting off the plane now, and we don't actually know if it's going to be leaving on level 2 or level 3. So immediately, I'm a little bit worried now. I'm going to get lost. So I left the plane, and I'm kind of walking, looking for the business lounge again at Bangkok Airport. And I have to say, all the Thai people that I've ever met, only in England, and indeed some in Australia the last time, they're always very pleasant, always smiling. Have you noticed that? Thai people, always very, very friendly. And I'm walking around, not quite sure where I'm going, and I recognised a lady from the plane as well. Don't know what her name was, but I got talking to her. I said, do you know where the lounge is? She said, no, I'm looking for it as well. And we went and asked this woman, this security woman who was sitting behind a desk, And she kind of vaguely pointed us in a direction where we needed to go. So we started walking down this long corridor. And I very quickly became aware that me and this lady were the only people walking in the other direction. Coming towards us were hordes of people who had obviously come from somewhere, all walking the other way. And I'm kind of looking around for a staircase because we knew we had to go up a flight of stairs to get to this lounge. And we couldn't see a staircase anywhere. Eventually we got near the end and I thought, well, we better ask someone. And I said to the woman, do you think we're going in the right direction? She says, I'm really not sure at all. So we asked some other security bloke who then pointed us back in the direction we came and says, and you'll need to go right, there is a sign on a door that says lounges. So sure enough, we then walked all the way back again, which was a good 5 minutes. And we found this door that said business lounges. So we went in this door and it immediately took us through to another security area. So we had to take our bags off, so I took my bag off and my shoes off and my jacket off, put it in this, and my belt. I have to take your belt off as well. Put it in this thing, I don't know what you call it, oh, that's clever, my phone's died now, so I've no idea how much longer I've got to chat to you. Oh, that's clever, isn't it? Well, I think it was about another 4 minutes. My phone has completely died. How annoying is that? Oh, it's hopeless. Well, I'm going to guess I've got another 3 minutes. All right, so we'll just have to see how we go. Put the stuff in there, and halfway through, it went in this machine. Halfway through the machine, this little security lady, once again smiling and very happy, she says, is there a laptop? And I said, yes. Oh, she said. And she said to the lady who was looking at the computer screen, at the things going through there, and she says, oh, laptop in bag. And the other lady says, oh, okay, it's okay. And they just put it through. I mean, I wasn't too impressed by that security, but there we are. We'll just have to see how we are. Eventually we got to the lounge. Okay, I thought I'll have a shower now because you can have showers in these lounges. And after 10 hours flying, believe me, you want one, because it was quite warm on that plane. I must say, I felt rather sweaty, and I did have a blue shirt on, and I had half the buttons undone. But there we are. So I had a shower. Of course, as luck went, she gave me this pager. She said, "We'll page you when there's a shower." And then this pager went off. I went in there, and of course, what happened? I took all my clothes off. And I just put my head under the shower and they called the flight, BA009 to Sydney. Please go to the gate now. So I thought, oh, Christ. So I quickly had a shower, got dressed again, got back into the lounge. By then the lady had gone. She'd abandoned. I was abandoned, boys and girls. Not for the first time. I was abandoned, got back on the plane and found my way to the gate, which was kind of up some stairs. It was actually quite easy to find. Got on the plane and off we went again. Immediately we had another meal. I can't remember what it was. I think it was another sort of beef meal that I selected. And off we went. 8 hours later, we got to Sydney. I actually managed to sleep on that plane because fortunately in those seats your seat lays completely flat. You haven't got an awful lot of room, but nevertheless the seat does go completely flat, so you can sort of lay fully stretched out on your back. And got to Sydney about, it was about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I knew where to go from last time, so I got the shuttle to the hotel room. That cost me $14, which was dirt cheap, about £7, £6 or £7 to get this little shuttle bus to the hotel. And it took me to the Ibis Hotel in World Square, Sydney, and that's where I checked in. So what have I been doing so far? Well, I'll have to tell you on the next show. Okay, actually on the next show we might be talking to my cousin Vincent because after today I'm off on a flight to Norfolk Island, which is a tiny little island off the Australian coast, and that's where my cousin Vince runs the police, and hopefully we'll be talking to him a little bit about that and we'll have a bit more of a chat, all right? Thanks very much for joining me on the show today from Sydney. This is United Kingdom Talk in Australia. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you on the next show. Thanks for watching.